millionaires have left the UK last year. Now we know that we've heard anecdotally that a lot of millionaires are leaving the UK, but now a firm of analysts called New World Wealth has shown that 10,000 or more millionaires left the UK in 2024. And that's estimated roughly now at one millionaire is leaving every 45 minutes, which is astonishing. And this has come about. We know why this has come about, and it's not just last year. Millionaires have been leaving the year before. 4,000 the year before, when the Conservative government had already put up taxes, corporation taxes. We were already suffering the highest tax take from the public and companies since the war. So there were already problems. And I know we've had the pandemic to deal with and paying back the debt and all that sort of thing, but it doesn't help when you put up taxes and businesses start to leave or relocate. So that's the position. If you look at why, the reasons why, I think a lot of it does come down to taxation, not just the tax on income, but the tax on companies, which is higher than many European countries, the tax on the VAT, the 20% VAT, tax on businesses, which has just been put up, employers' national insurance contributions has just been put up, so it's more expensive now to employ people for employers. And I know what it was like employing people. You had to find that money every month. You had to deal with the PAYE, you had to pay their taxes, make sure you send the taxman's share off in time, otherwise they're banging on your door. Make sure you collect the national insurance, then the VAT. We're like the unpaid tax collectors. So I know what it's like. So to have that extra burden put on you is bad. And we already know that unemployment figures yesterday came out are showing that we're seeing a rise in unemployment and less activity in the employment market, so less jobs being offered out there, and some of the big employment agencies are suffering on their figures. So we know that there's problems here, and naturally, why would an employer get involved with employing more people here when they can outsource the business somewhere else and not have the hassle of national insurance and employment regulation, which is coming? Is another reason now. Regulation. People like Angela Rayner and these lefties are wanting to bring in tougher employment regulations, making it more difficult to fire people. Whereas up to now, at the moment you can give it a year, and if in that year you're not getting on, you can let them go without reason, making the economy less flexible, and that's going to drive unemployment up. I've seen it happen in Spain, where you have very tough employment laws. You basically can't get rid of anybody. So what does it mean? What they do in countries like Spain, Italy, Philippines, they just employ people on a short-term contract, 3-6 months, and then they're gone, or maybe renew it the next time. But they don't give people permanent jobs, and that's sad. And you look at Spain, they've got like 30-40% youth unemployment, and Italy's got problems. That's why there's so many Spanish and Italians over here. So it doesn't work. Socialism in this way doesn't work. These people are lunatics. They are going to destroy the economy in the UK if we don't put some brakes on this. We look at what they're doing to the rental market with further regulations and possible, we are going to see the abolition of Section 21 notices, but there's going to be a raft of other regulations which are going to put landlords off, and we're seeing landlords leave that market. Same thing with millionaires. They're going to be leaving to perhaps countries like, I don't know, Dubai, Portugal, anywhere where they're treated a little bit better. Now, what does a millionaire actually mean? Well, it could mean someone with assets of $1 million, but it could also mean somebody who's got 10 million, 20 million, someone who's running a business here, someone who's employing people in the UK. What happens to those people? They'll presumably lose their jobs. Now, the Labour government have also put out a notice that they are going to start taxing non-doms. These are non-domiciliary people who are not domiciled in this country for tax purposes. So their income from abroad is not taxed here. And I think that's perfectly fair. This has been around for 200 years. But since Labour have from their budget, they're looking to now grab that money. They say, we're going to get 30 billion from these non-doms. It's rubbish. You won't get it. They'll just move away. And some of these non-doms are very wealthy people. They can just move out. They can ride it out until the next government comes in and perhaps brings in more sensible laws and then come back again. in the meantime, they'll go to countries like France, Paris, Monaco, wherever, where they can enjoy their lives and not be taxed up to the hilt. Now, you might say, look, squeeze them, squeeze the fat cats, but it doesn't work. They'll just move on somewhere else and then you lose them. And I've heard socialist commentators say, well, if 10,000 millionaires leave, so what? But that's 250% up on the year before. That's not good news, is it? So I think Labour needs to put the brakes on some of these socialist policies, and I believe some of the things they are reconsidering, because they've had calls from employment federations saying, look, you can't do this, otherwise you're going to kill new jobs. So I think they are reconsidering some of the totally loony left policies. So that's a bit of good news, and hopefully they'll rein it in a bit, because we know that they are beholden to the unions. They're funded by the unions, so the unions want these laws coming in, and we know that the national insurance is not imposed on government workers, of course. The government are not going to pay that extra. It's just private businesses. And you can't keep on squeezing private businesses, because eventually they'll run out of money. And if they stop running out of, if they're not paying into the exchequer, the government will run out of money as well. And I believe that Maggie Thatcher once said, the problem is with socialism is that sooner or later you run out of other people's money to spend. Now, this is in contrast to what's going on in America, where we saw Donald Trump inaugurated yesterday, and it was full of positive messages. It was full of hope. The new golden age has begun. We're going to make America great again. It's such a contrast from hearing Keir Starmer sitting there going, oh, the economy's bad. We inherited this debt and the 22 billion black hole, which doesn't really exist. He's made that all up. And all they're talking the economy down. Even the chief executive of Barclays Bank the other day said, you've got to start talking the economy up. If you keep talking it down, then it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And what I like about Donald Trump is his positivity and his belief that he can make America great again. Even if he doesn't do all the things he said he's going to do, I think his positivity and his exuberance will give that a bounce to the economy. Just like when a new football manager comes in and says, come on, we're going to win the league this year, and we're going to do this, we're going to do that. It lifts the team. And that's what America needs, and that's what Britain needs. We need good leadership, we need positive leadership and inspiring leadership, not someone standing there going, I mean, it's awful. It's the worst government. I'm sorry to be bashing Labour. You might think I'm just here bashing Labour, but I'm not happy with what the fag end of the last government did either, putting up those taxes, keeping taxes high and driving away business from the UK. I'm not happy with many of the things they did. And remember, they did run up a huge deficit as well. So there you go. That's the message. What can you do about this? Well, not a lot. If you're one of these millionaires that want to leave, I'd love to hear from you, whether you have left or planning to leave, or whether you're planning to stay. I know several very, very wealthy people, perhaps in middle to older age, but they're not going anywhere. But perhaps their kids are the ones who are a bit more adventurous, and they're the ones who will be going anywhere. I know several people in that position where their kids have decided to go where the grass seems to be greener at the moment. But it's not easy. It's not easy to uproot a business, a physical business from the UK. It's not easy if you've got kids at school and that sort of thing, but there are schools abroad. There are just as, there's many, many good schools abroad. So, have a think about it. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. And if you need any advice on, building wealth and becoming a millionaire, then do check out my webinars, usually 7 p.m. on a Wednesday evening. Check those out. I'll put a link up somewhere in the description, and I'll give you 3 steps of financial freedom. We'll talk about money mindset. We'll talk about managing your money. We'll talk about financial freedom, and I'll talk about the type of team you need to have around you in order to build that wealth and invest in assets. So thanks very much for listening, and I will see you soon.